me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Shutdown Theater came to the Kennedy yesterday, and this time there were arrests, a dozen people arrested. Seems like there were two different orders. State police had an order to arrest. Chicago police had an order to stand down. Why the difference this time?
Well, yeah, here's Sergeant Riccio from Chicago Police.
We can never allow an airport to be shut down. There's federal implications. There's federal charges involved for anybody that would try to obstruct commerce at an airport or people coming and going. We have a holiday weekend in place. We're not going to let the airport get shut down.
Yeah, they were not going to let the airport get shut down, and they did not, as people attempted, and the Reverend's going to join us to talk about this, but as people attempted to get onto the Kennedy at Cumberland, they were not snatched, but they arrested 12 people, each given a $120 fine.
All right, making his one call from jail to join us now is Reverend Greg Livingston. He's the president and founder of the Coalition for a New Chicago, who organized this protest as he did the Lakeshore one a couple of weeks back. Greg, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Dan and Amy. It's great to be on the phone with you.
Are you all right in there, or did they release you?
Oh no, they released me yesterday.
Oh, okay.
They released us yesterday. Yes, sir.
All right. So, how do you think it went?
Well, I think it went well. By that I mean, just the threat of it and everything. We saw the Kennedy slow down, and things were kind of clogged up. And then, after they arrested us, we prayed for rain, and we had the flood, and O'Hare was flooded and everything else. And so we think it went well. We think we made the point, so to speak.
Yeah, well, O'Hare was shut down for a while. I mean, you're right. So you guys prayed for rain for that to happen?
It's better than praying for frogs or locusts, I suppose.
Without a doubt, we prayed for whatever help we could get, and we got some help. So that was a good deal.
All right, so how many people would you estimate were there? We know 12 got arrested, but I drove by because I had to go by O'Hare to get to an event that I had to attend.
Yeah, Greg, I don't know how to break it to you. Amy is a little cross with you. You delayed her 12 minutes from getting to the boat regatta at Oak Park Country Club. So, I mean, that's a real crime against humanity that you have to account for.
I'm really
that country.
What were you going to say about the country club? I'm not a snob. I drive a used minivan, but I did have to go.
Yeah, she had a boat regatta. She doesn't have time for your Chicago violence blather. She's on her way to a boat regatta at a swimming pool at the Oak Park Country Club.
Yeah, we can never really help or help someone that's the country club class is a whole another class altogether. So I apologize for that, Amy. We really
It's okay. It was canceled because of the rain that you prayed for.
He sounds contrite. Yeah.
But how many people would you say were there? Like, get the media out of there, because I saw a lot. What I saw was a lot more media than protesters.
Well, we saw a lot more everything than protesters. I mean, to be honest, I was at the front, and then once we got started, because we had like three buses, we were waiting to get there, and so they called me. They were stuck in traffic, so we decided just to go on out. And I think maybe we had maybe 50 to 100 people or something like that, And but that was enough in terms of they were able to make it down onto the expressway and to kind of stretch it out.
Did you have any conversation with City Hall, the fifth floor, Tiny Dancer, before this shutdown yesterday, this protest yesterday, in terms of what was going to happen if you went forward with it?
Not in terms of what would happen if we decided to go ahead and do the Kennedy piece, but they did have their Black community liaison, Vance Henry. He hit us up about having a face-to-face meeting with him, and we rejected that and said we wanted a face-to-face meeting with the mayor and his advisor, Michael Sachs.
Now, Superintendent Johnson wasn't there. Instead, they sent out the Deputy Superintendent Riccio. Do you know why Johnson wasn't there?
Well, he and I went to high school and grammar school together, maybe he just didn't want to have any conflict with an old friend. But but for us, really, one of the larger questions, and afterwards, I heard Major Byrd's explanation was, what was so different about this federal expressway, than than Dan Ryan? What was so different? Why couldn't we do it? Keep going. Why did we have to be stopped? So
yeah, I think
that was one of the bigger questions.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Actually, they sort of set the precedent with the Dan Ryan, so I'm not particularly persuaded by the police response either. Here's the thing, you got some people upset because it's a spectacle and it's inconvenient, and then all of a sudden some Chicagoans become fiscal conservatives. They're worried about a few $100,000 in police associated police costs for a city that's got $30 billion in unfunded police and fire pension liabilities. So I mean, it's a bit comical, and but people pick up the small things. Sometimes they don't see the forest for the trees. And so what is the forest here? Give us the big picture of what the goal of this campaign is and the purpose of your organization, Coalition for a New Chicago.
Sure. And we're not finished in terms of what we're doing and getting these demands met. We think the people need some immediate wins, and we want to get those. Rahm and Harold Washington, I would say that are two very different kind of mayors. Harold was accessible and he ran to the people. Rahm was inaccessible. He runs from the people. So we have to keep chasing him. As long as he's mayor, as long as he's getting a paycheck, we think we can help in terms of reducing this violence, things of that nature. And and the point of doing something like this, again, was we felt that we needed to hit commerce in order to get that kind of attention, which is also again why we had the kind of response that we did on yesterday, because I had heard things, Dan and Amy, about, the high people were meeting, the airlines, they were burning up the mayor's phone because the airline schedules are inflexible. And so, I think we chose a right target in terms of trying to end this tale of two cities. I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, so just specifically, though, what does winning look like? That, get a couple of wins. Give me an example of what a possible short-term win is, other than deposing Tiny Dancer in the February of next year, which is a short-term. It could be a short-term win, but other than that,
sure. We had demands like for construction jobs. In terms of workforce, that they be 20% African American. Looking for funding for black-led anti-violence programs, or giving money to black men to help black boys. Just economic investment on the south and west sides that's commensurate with the investment on downtown and the north side in terms of funding and partnerships. So things that can really make a difference in the now to work at that. That $1.5 billion slush fund that the mayor has. Instead of having $55 million that was slated for the west side go to David Pier, let it go to the west side to do what it needs to do. So,
yeah, but Greg, on this matter of investments on the west and south side, public funding of stuff on the west and south sides, or anywhere for that matter, businesses don't want to go where it's not safe. So it seems to me you've got the cart in front of the horse. Until it's safe, there's no amount of money that will incentivize many businesses, clearly based on what we see in the south and west sides, from locating there. And so until government abides its first responsibility to provide for public safety, why is it on business, or why is it on the taxpayers to throw bad money after bad money that we've tried this, sort of economic development, public-private partnerships, all of the bromides about investing in places that lack economic opportunity. And it seems to me we continue to put the cart before the horse.
I think that, there's been such a paucity of investment on the south and west sides that just some new blood, some nutrients, pumped into the veins of the community will make a huge difference. But I do agree with you. We've tried to monetize the solution, if you will, in so many different ways over and over again. But I think that there has to be a real involvement of the community, which is not easy. It's not easy. One of the reasons we do what we do too, Dan, is that we try to inspire the uninspired, and it's not easy to inspire the uninspired. So we try to have some kind of action like we did yesterday, or actions in the past, to give people some kind of spark, to say, come on, you can do this, let's go. And again, I've passed for some of the most challenged areas in the city, and there's nothing easy about trying to inspire people who have given up, but it's something that we have to do. And so even in terms of, investment, I think some of these areas are so bad that it's always the driest wood that catches on fire first. And I think that some real investment can really make a difference in terms of inspiring the people in that community.
Yep. So, Reverend, one thing that people never know. So you get arrested with 11 other people. Then what happens? Did you have to pay the $120 fines, and where'd they take you, and how soon were you released?
Yeah. They took us away somewhere to like a temporary spot that they had, and then they went through, checked our IDs for warrants and things like that, and then they told us what we were charged with, and we didn't have to pay yesterday, but you have the option of paying or going to court or whatever on that. So, but the troopers treated us all with great respect. It wasn't like a 68 Democratic convention piece. Even though one of the guys that was arrested with us, he was with the National Guard at the 68 convention.
Wow.
So he was 75, and so he was there 50 years ago.
So what's next? What are you doing? Midway? Where are you going with this?
Now, well, we have something planned. I'm trying to pull it together, and before I really announce it, I think it'll be something that will surprise many people, because we're not just a one-trick pony. We realized that we had to have a series of events. We started really back on July 16th. In front of the police station, CPD, and then on that 18th, we had a little small protest on Mandela's birthday, and then from there we went to Lakeshore Drive and now to here. And so we realized that we're building an infrastructure, if you will, in terms of challenging and countering the powers that be. And so the next piece, hopefully, I can have some things together by Thursday or Friday so that we can let the public know that what we're doing here. And we're trying to do something constructive. Even though people see that these marches as being destructive, some do. Others get the point that it's just the cry of the people.
Well, I'll tell you. So I know you can't disclose it, but can you give me an indication? Are you finally going to go to the North Shore and shut down a Gordon Lightfoot concert at Ravinia, or interrupt a polo match at New Trier High School, or protest in front of Lester Crown's house or Byron Trott's house? I mean, are we finally gonna get there where the actual power and money resides in this state?
That's why we want to sit down with Emmanuel and Michael Sachs. The actual power, and because somebody's holding those purse strings, and But I would say we wish we could do all of the above, but we'll just stick with having the conversation with Emmanuel and Sachs for right now.
I'd be. I mean, if you wanted to go up to the New Trier High School stables and free the horses, I mean, I might be game for that. So I mean, just think about it.
I mastermind for you, I will. Right. Yes, indeed.
He is Reverend Greg Livingston, president and founder of the Coalition for a New Chicago. Greg, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs.